ABC 12 News special presentation. They're children.
I was about 10, I started using drugs. Ever since then, life's just been messed up.
And they're already criminals.
If I didn't end up here, I probably would have killed somebody or I would have been killed.
The system has always punished them. But this Mid-Michigan facility is rehabilitating their hearts and minds.
I don't want to be in that life anymore. It's time for me to change.
They're restoring hope behind locked doors.
There are 44,000 inmates in Michigan's prisons, and their faces are getting younger and younger. Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Angie Sharamsky. Today's children are robbing, dealing, and killing at an alarming rate. Once they're in the system, a lot of them have a hard time finding their way out. There are some in society who say we should write them off, lock them up, and just keep building more prisons. But there are others in Michigan who are taking a different approach, an approach aimed at restoring hope. Over the next half hour, we're going to show you a new state initiative called Balanced and Restorative Justice. It was actually drawn from ancient American Indian customs. Simply put, restorative justice aims to do more than just punish the offender. The goal is to try to repair damage done by making them apologize, pay restitution, and learn the consequences of their behavior. Those very principles are being put to use every day at Genesee Valley Regional Center. We spent an entire day behind closed doors to give you an unprecedented look at restorative justice at work.
All right, let's go, John.
Before sunrise,
All right, let's go.
a journey is beginning.
All right, let's go.
For those behind lock and key at Genesee Valley Regional Center.
All right, John, you need to be lined up at 7:20. You know the routine. Let's do it.
The routine is structured to the minute. It's so ingrained, they roll out of bed and into their chores almost instinctively. A structure missing from the way of life that led them here.
I was about 10, I started using drugs. And ever since then, life's just been messed up.
Breaking the rules, laws, doing drugs, skipping school. I was going down the wrong road real fast, and it was like I was driving down that road with my eyes shut. I didn't see what was happening to me.
Brian, Chris, and Antoine, 3 different young men whose decisions led them to the same fate. Trading in their youth for arrests, convictions, and one juvenile facility after another.
All right, let's go.
Their freedom is gone. No more hanging out, seeing girls, or even going to the store. But at GVRC, they're not simply locked up.
If they want help, they can definitely get it here, but it has to come with they want help.
Robert Lane helps lead troubled teens through their day and back to freedom.
You have to take care of your business.
They've committed serious crimes, yet these offenders are children, some as young as 12 years old, who still need help with the most basic tasks.
Proper hygiene, cleanup skills, So, you'd be amazed sometime on what they think is cleaned up is really not.
But their problems run much deeper. Director Judy Arthur says they've learned to commit adult-like crimes, but many young men at GVRC were never taught childlike skills.
Some cases we're teaching kids to tie their shoes. Sometimes we're teaching them the seasons of the year, how to count, what the alphabet is. They come in having been really divorced from a lot of the things that you and I would consider the normal parts of growing up.
Normal for Chris meant following in his brother's footsteps, a life of gangs, stealing, and drugs.
If I was still out there, that's basically where I'd be on the streets.
For Brian, normal meant bouncing from one juvenile center to the next, getting out and getting back into trouble.
No, I've never had a job before. And I didn't really have a plan besides to get high that day or go steal something if I need it.
But here, they're part of something.
Okay, gentlemen, we all set? Let's go.
A group that travels together down a daily path meant to shepherd them back to society.
The group is meant to be very tight and very cohesive. That's why they do practically everything together. And it's like replacing their family, where you would have a close group of people that you can communicate with, that you can trust, that you can open up to, and that you feel that you can depend on. And by developing the personal skills that go into all of those qualities, we feel that they'll be better equipped to function out in the community when they leave.
They share meals and problems.
If a person is out of line, then the group will restrain them.
And together, they learn to weigh decisions in everything from gym class to life.
They made me think of consequences before I do things.
For Antoine, having a group of peers who've made the same mistakes has helped him see where he went wrong.
I opened my eyes to see everything that I've done. Made me weigh my pros and cons. You know, they made me think of things that I took for granted as, you know, good things in my life. They made me feel like, you know, I should have been thinking about the things before I did the crime to get in here.
And as time passes, they pick up the skills they need to see a light at the end of their sentence.
If you can reach down and have them feel something for it, then you get more mileage, more meaningful. They have a better sense of right and wrong and why it is wrong.
At GVRC, those many have given up on are given the key to a second chance at life.
One of the most important things that we represent is that we are trying to fight against throwaway children, that it's really our goal to restore these kids so they can go back to the community and have happy lives.
It may seem like they've already done more than most people do in a full day, and their work is just beginning.
It means mistake.
Up next, GVRC tries to make up for lost time in the classroom.
We now return to this 12 Children's First Special, Restore Behind Locked Doors.
Broken homes, broken lives, broken spirit. Many children who turn to crime know no other way. Their family life is in chaos. The community is crumbling all around them. And with no one there to guide them, many simply give up on life. The mission here at GVRC is to get them to believe.
They got their education in the streets.
I didn't like school.
The school of hard knocks.
I thought I would only punch go to school, but
where the subjects are robbing, stealing, and dealing. Lessons that took them out of the classroom and down the wrong road.
I couldn't read a word.
And when that road led them here, many had barely made it out of elementary school.
A lot of them have come in, they don't even know the sounds to the letters.
But behind the locked doors of GVRC, teachers look past adult-like exteriors to the children inside and try to make up for lost years and lessons.
Rushing to pick up the pieces and
draw.
Repair, make all the repairs. We had...
It means mistake.
Ruth O'Hanlon has taught English and history at GVRC for 15 years. She says children in trouble with the law have a history of problems in the classroom.
About 4th, 5th grade, they start acting out. And then we end up with criminals, no job skills, can't read. You know, there's just not much future for them until they get the basic skills.
Before, the teachers, they wouldn't help me. If I told them that I needed help on my math, they'd come over and show me a way that I don't know what they're talking about. But teachers here, if you ask them for work, they'll break it down for you.
With smaller class sizes and patient instructors, kids like Chris, who never finished 7th grade, are able to close the gaps in their education.
They spend a lot of time helping the individual and as well as the class. I improved in my reading a lot. I couldn't read a word when I was out, but now I'm in like 9th grade reading.
It's a safe environment. They have all the time in the world. There's no pressure on them.
For Brian, the time and effort has paid off.
Ready to go? Yeah.
As his release date draws near, he gets his first taste of freedom. He's allowed to leave GVRC for several hours every day to attend classes at public high school.
Yeah, it gives me a lot of hope, because I know what the people, what the staff here and what the program managers and everybody, they try to help me with. And I know if I disappoint them, I'm disappointing myself and them and my family and everybody.
The lessons being taught here go far beyond reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Our goal isn't to get them back to where they were when they started. It's to get them past that point to some place where they can be a productive member of society.
Their day is filled with opportunities for learning.
Include that as part of your design.
Their creative energies are tapped, computer skills honed.
Keep your hands back.
And they're learning their way around the kitchen.
Watch it, watch it, watch it.
GVRC teaches them basic etiquette, how to set a table, even how to fix a meal for 100 people.
They get all dressed up and they prepare all the food. They work with us with it and we show them how to decorate things and how to cut things just so and how to set up, and they really get into it.
For 14 years, Diana Dodd has worked with them side by side, watching as their confidence grows along with their skills. Skills they can use to find work on the outside.
When we work with them, we try to teach them, you know, anybody can do anything as long as they set their mind to do it. And the sky is the limit for them, so we're here to teach them and work with them and show them, you know, proper things and help encourage them and lift them up.
Inside the walls of GVRC, troubled teens can often, for the first time in their lives, find people who believe in them, people willing to teach them the most important lesson of all. The key to freedom is in their own mind.
I knew if I wanted to be free, I had to make some changes.
The program at GVRC can show them the way out, but it's up to each young man to find the motivation for opening the door.
Okay, I've been locked up a while. I want to be free.
For Chris, it was simply time. For Antoine, the birth of his new son.
He inspires me to get out quicker and, you know, do everything that I need to do. And so whenever I have a problem or I get upset about something, I just think about the time that I could be spending with him.
Brian's motivation is something every teenage boy can relate to.
2 years ain't fun being locked up, away from your family and having them come up once a month and not being able to see any girls or anything. So
once they've made up their mind to change, they can look back at what might have been.
If I didn't end up here, I probably would have killed somebody or I would have been killed.
I believe I probably would have ended up in prison or something.
We're 3/4 of the way through what has already been a busy day. They've exercised their bodies and their minds.
I seen them get shot, things like that, getting fights. I thought all of it was cool.
Up next, you'll see how they strengthen their souls.
We now return to this ABC 12 Children's First Special, Restoring Hope Behind Locked Doors.
Their day started before 7 a.m. and they haven't stopped moving since. They're ushered from classroom to classroom. Now they're about to begin what they call group session. It could be the most important part of their day.
I could talk about it.
This is where the healing begins.
Coming home with gang members and stuff, and I thought it was cool.
The road to recovery is often painful.
When I was like 11, we had this little organization.
As wounds are reopened,
Started this organization, what was going on at home.
skeletons are revealed,
I want to listen to my mom.
and young offenders are forced to own up to the hurt they've caused.
Here, you got to actually learn to deal with your problems. Like, you got to bring them out and put them out there in the open.
They bare their souls to each other, speaking honestly about their families, friends, and crimes.
Because I felt if I was a gang member, everybody would know me, I'd be important.
Chris tells the group about watching his brother get shot and his own life fall apart.
I thought all of it was cool, but now I don't see that cool at all. I mean, he could have got killed, I could have got killed, anybody.
Their past mistakes forge a common bond.
I think that helps me a lot. I talk to people that's got experience, that knows how what I went through, and I know what they went through. We learn to discuss issues that are bothering us, discuss our frustrations, you know, be able to talk about things openly and honestly.
Group members work through problems together, sharing their darkest secrets.
Whatever happens in group is meant to stay in group, and if somebody reveals something very personal or very private, that's not to be disclosed or used in any kind of a joking or kidding way outside of the group meeting.
Group discussion is a safe place where peers learn to trust and help each other draw a connection between their crime and the pain they've caused.
Now you realize you shouldn't have been doing that, right? Mm-hmm.
And for the first time, they're able to get to the heart of what restorative justice is all about, the victims.
I hurt people. That's the main reason why I won't do it again, because I hurt people.
What we have tried to do is re-emphasize the focus on not just punishing the offender, but balancing our attention between the offender, the victim, and community safety so that everybody gets restored.
Part of the program's therapy requires each young man to write a letter to their victim.
I set other people up by victimizing,
which forces them to see the crime through the victim's eyes.
I had to sit down and think about how my victims felt, how, it felt for something to happen to them. I had to put myself in their situation, and that made me feel like, that made me think about how I affected their lives. Before, I didn't really think about my victims. If I wanted something, I was going to take it from them.
But at GVRC, apologizing to the victim isn't enough. Restorative justice aims to repair damage done to society by having young criminals try to give back just a small piece of what they've taken.
Restorative justice to me is giving back to the community by keeping it safe, not going out there and doing whatever you want, and not selling drugs and getting into gangs, and keeping the community safe, accountability, being accountable for your actions.
Part of giving back includes doing some community service.
I stole, broke into houses and stuff, giving back like we do Habitat, giving back by building houses. I might not be giving back to specific victims, but I know that I can get back to my community.
This is the latest stop in a maze of jail cells, detention centers, and foster homes for most of the kids here. But by getting them to think, to feel, to empathize, GVRC tries to be different than the other facilities.
And there, all you do is sit there all week. You don't got to speak up. You can just sit there and, as they say, is do good. Don't have any problems. You can just move on from levels and move up.
But life isn't so easy here at GVRC.
You get some negative attention.
Obstacles are thrown their way, challenging them, giving them the chance to grow.
We used to be all detention, and what defined a good day in detention was when there were no problems, because that meant staff were on top of things, everything was under control, people were safe, and we were happy. Once we got into treatment, we realized if nothing was happening, there were no opportunities for treatment either. And so what we look for are those opportunities where kids are acting out or struggling and learning a new skill.
When they're released, some will return to their old ways.
Thanks for the help, guys.
But by treating young offenders instead of simply locking them up, the state is hoping to steer them away from a life behind bars.
And historically, that's what our system has done, is when we have somebody who's offended against the community, we try to ostracize them for as long and as far as possible. But when you're dealing with somebody who starts out at 13 or 14 years of age, they need to return.
GVRC helps them break that cycle. Antoine, Chris, and Brian now believe they can return to lives far different than the ones that brought them here.
Yeah, when I get back, I'm going to be spending a lot of time with my son and taking care of him and making sure that he has everything that he needs, as well as I'm going to be going to school and working. I'll probably move out of the city, because I know if I go back to that city, I've kind of changed my surroundings.
Like for me, I always wanted to get some acceptance. I was down with something for you to notice me, or I'd always get negative attention. But now I found out after this last 8 to 10 months, I found out that you can get attention positively.
Restorative justice is a leap of faith, but those who believe in it say we have no choice. Too many young lives are at stake. Restorative justice attempts to return them to society instead of simply throwing them away.
Grant me the serenity.
Grant me the serenity
To accept the things I cannot change.
to accept the things I cannot change.
The courage to change the things I can.
The courage to change the things I can.
And the wisdom to know the difference.
And the wisdom to know the difference.
Amen.
Amen.
We now return to this ABC 12 Children's First Special, Restoring Hope Behind Locked Doors.
Most young men sent to GVRC stay here 1 to 2 years. Their time depends on their actions. The better they do, the faster they can go home. When they walk out these doors for the final time, many are filled with the hope and desire that they can continue down the right road. Make no mistake, that road won't always be easy. Brian, Chris, and Antoine are sure to hit their own bumps along the way. But the hope is they'll call on the lessons they learned while at GVRC. Since the day we spent here, all 3 of them have been released. Brian was set to graduate in June, but had a minor setback. He ran away from his halfway house. He didn't break any laws and didn't do any drugs. He simply told staff he missed his family. He's back at that halfway house now and should go home soon. Chris moved away from his old neighborhood and is now living with his aunt and uncle. And Antoine did graduate from high school. He has a job and even got to go to his high school prom. Not all young men sent to GVRC will turn their lives around. But those who believe in restorative justice say if they can just reach a few, the time and effort will be worthwhile. Tonight, the future of GVRC is uncertain. The state is looking at cutbacks and has singled this building out as a possible target. But until that decision is made, the people here say they'll keep working to restore hope behind locked doors. I'm Angie Sharansky. Thanks for joining us tonight.